The Democratic Alliance in the City of Johannesburg says it is consulting its lawyers over the reappointment of 130 workers who were fired from the municipality. The party says the employees' contracts were modified illegally, and after it was discovered their contracts were changed to permanent. Belinda Kayser-Echeozonjoku is the DA Johannesburg caucus leader and joins us now. Belinda, thank you so much for your time and for joining us this evening. Now, Belinda, under the Democratic Alliance, the 130 COJ employees were laid off a week ago. A court order has now ruled for the staff to be reinstated. Why are you continuing to contest the reinstatement of these 130 COJ workers?
Good evening, Katleho, and good evening to the viewers. One of the big concerns we have is that the mayoral committee at the time modified these contracts from fixed term contracts to permanent employees, which is one that was gazetted into effect in June 2022. We raised concerns about these previously, that the mayoral committee cannot make decisions and then overrule what the COCTA regulation is, which is national. And those are the main reasons why we are objecting to this, and we also made that clear in council today, and which is why we are consulting with our attorneys. So an issue of politics, it's an issue of regulations being adhered to, and that is one of the reasons why.
So, Belinda, I believe you do have load shedding. We're struggling to hear a bit of what you're saying, but hopefully we'll be able to continue with this conversation. So, in other words, is the DA contesting and saying that the order has ruled in error?
We're not saying the order is in error. We're saying, obviously, when something gets into court, whoever is the presiding judge is looking at what is made available to them. One of the concerns that we raised in the council today is that the city did not present the COCTA regulations in court as well, which is why we raised these concerns. And obviously we know now that they purposely possibly have not raised it, that there was an error from the mayoral committee side to go against the COCTA regulations. And those are why we are consulting with our attorneys, because now you have a situation where a mayoral committee decision has superseded a COCTA national regulations. And those are some of the reasons we are consulting with our attorneys. We also have concerns with regards to the budget implications of this. The budget passed, we voted against it, because we also noticed that the salary bill had ballooned to 57 million rand, but yet the city is cutting budget between about 4.2 billion rand for operational budget. And we're saying it looks as if this has purposely been brought to council purely to ensure that ANC cadres are accommodated prior to the elections. So it's got nothing really to do with trying to make right what's wrong, but it's got to do with political expediency, and that is what we're against as well. And the fact that the service delivery budget is being cut, but the salary budget is ballooning.
Speaking of those costs, the court order also states that there should be a back pay for these 130 employees. What's your stance on that?
That's exactly the concerns we raised today. There's back pay and all of those stuff. This is typical of an ANC government that do not care about the residents, and they're using staff and ballooning the public sector by putting their cadres in. These are all administrative staff. Some of those staff members are earning up to 100,000 rand a month. Now you can imagine the implications on that cost while on the city, and while we are sitting with service delivery that is collapsing across the city. And we're saying these are not staff that is going to make a difference to service delivery. They are administrative staff. And secondly, those positions has already been filled. There was no need for this to have been done. If there were, positions that were not filled, we would understand. And the rush to have this done prior to the election. So we know that this has got everything to do with politicians who are trying to fill up and make sure that they have people to do electioneering for them. So these staff are being used as a political football by the ANC at this point in time.
So do you know what positions then would these 130 fill if you're saying that their previous positions have already been filled?
Yes, they were all in political staff, the political office. The caucus regulations, if any, for example, MMCs or MECs have private offices and even the executive mayor, these are not staff that deals directly with service deliveries. It's people like advisors to the MMC, personal assistants to the MMC. These are the kind of positions, executive assistant, office managers. These are the kind of administrative staff that is in the private office of that political office bearer. So it's not people that is like you can say they're going to be making a big difference in terms of actual service delivery that it has to do with the day-to-day running of the city. These are administrative staff, and some of them are earning about 100,000 rand a month.
But the city has welcomed the outcome together with SAMWU, which was the union that took on the battle. Do we know if it's all the 130 that would be reinstated? Because there were talks of only 78 of them being reinstated back into those positions.
According to the report we received today in council, only 78 of the 130 is being reinstated. And it's like political cadreship of the ANC, because if it was really about, trying to rectify something that they believe it's wrong, why not deal with a whole 130 and only deal with 78 workers? And most of those workers are linked to the ANC. And those are some of the concerns we had. They're trying to capture obviously the city by ensuring that their cadres are employed for electioneering purposes.
Lastly, Belinda, MMC Loyiso Masuku earlier in the week spoke to my colleague Michelle Craig, and she stated that the DA made a judgment in error and in law, and do you then believe that it's safe to say that with that statement made, in hindsight, these additional costs that have been incurred by the municipality and the city in terms of all these back pays, do you think that the leadership of the DA, of the then DA, need to take accountability for laying off these 130 staff?
No, I don't believe so. I think the blame should squarely be on the executive committee at the time, the mayoral committee at the time, who even got letters from the MEC at the time raising concerns about the fact that they made decisions that is in violation of cocktail regulation that is coming into effect on in June 2022. So the blame should squarely be on MMC Masuku and the then mayor and the mayoral committee who decided that the mayoral committee decisions are above cocktail regulations. Those are the issues, that they should be concerned about, and it doesn't help putting a blame game because they made this decision being fully aware that they are going against the cocktail regulations.
All right, Belinda, thank you so much for your time this evening, for your inputs. That's Belinda Kayser-Echeozonjoku, who's the DA caucus leader, speaking to us there.